welcome to my show. Today we have just left Thousand Trails Moody Beach in Wells, Maine, and we are on our way to another spot in Maine. So we're not done with Maine yet. While we were at Thousand Trails Moody Beach, we went to Drake's Island Beach because Moody Beach, it was really funny. The lady in the visitor center, she told us that she was the one who told us that Moody Beach was actually a private beach, and she's like, you can walk on it, but don't stop, they will yell at you. Don't sit down, they will yell at you. And it's like, okay. So we didn't end up going to Moody Beach, but I just find it really funny that the campground's called Moody Beach. If Moody Beach is a private beach and you're not really supposed to be there anyways, so like, why would you call the campground that? There's 1,000 other beaches in the area to name it after. But anyways, we went to Drake's Island Beach, and that was a very nice beach. It was a pretty busy one, but if you go after 6, it's free parking, and enough people have left for like supper or whatever, enough people are done at the beach for the day that you can usually find a parking spot, and it's probably way less busy after 6 than it is during the daytime. So that's fun to go there and do some swimming and then watch the sunset. We actually are pretty darn sure we saw some orcas one time there, and so that was really, really cool. It was definitely, there was something out there that one day. But it was fun to just jump in the waves, and you know, Emmett, he got really good at jumping into the wave and then turning around, and all of a sudden his face would just be coming right back at you. It was funny, but also a little scary. Some other things we did while we were in the area was we went to Congdon's Donuts. Those were really good. They weren't any like outrageous funny flavors for the most part, but they were just, you know, your classic donuts. You could get chocolate, or you got blueberry, lemon, you know, just the classic flavors, but they were good. And we also tried some lobster roll, scallop roll, and clam roll. And the lobster roll was pretty good. I don't think anybody really liked the clam roll, but I think the scallop roll, that was a favorite of everyone who tried it. So that's my recommendations. Go for a scallop roll, then a lobster roll, and if you have to, then a clam roll. That's just my personal preference. But I also think that I just like my seafood in like soup form better, like a clam chowder or something like that. Well, I don't think I've ever had clam chowder, but I had crab chowder one time, and that was good. So like, that's how I like my seafood. Otherwise, I don't really like it. But yeah. We took a short little day trip to the Rachel Carson National Wildlife Refuge while we were there. It was not far from where we were staying, and that was a nice mile hike. We got to see some egrets, so that was fun. Yeah, I think we pretty much just went to the beach while we were there. Oh yeah, that's right. We did also go on a nice little walk by the ocean. It's called Marginal Way. It's very nice. Was it a mile? I don't know. It's kind of, there's different entrance points that you can get on at, and just walk until you want to be done and turn around and go home. So yeah, that was definitely worth it, and that was fun. And there was like little spots that you could stop and off the path and take pictures and just watch the ocean and the waves. But yeah, that's what we did while we were there. But I do have some other things to say, so I'm gonna keep talking. If you have an RV toilet, you should be very careful that if the pedal snaps off and you are manually flushing it, you know, that's a great way to go about it. If you can't get the parts right away and you can't get it fixed right away, you know, just manually doing it, great idea. But be very careful that you don't, there's a tab that if you pull on that tab, there's gonna be water gushing everywhere in your bathroom. I don't speak from personal experience or anything, just got this information from a friend of a friend, you know. I don't have any experience with it. Anyways, but also, just again, totally not me, but if that does happen, don't try to plug up the area with a washcloth, because that won't help at all. Yeah, so just word of advice.
Get the old bridge.
Oh, that's the old bridge. That's cool. I have to stop this. I'll come back in a minute, but I have to take a picture of the bridge. Okay, I'm back from filming the bridge. It was cool. So yeah, just be careful if you're manually flushing your toilet, because you might have some problems. But also, it is the stupidest thing to me. There's no water shut off at the toilet or at any of the faucets. Like, what is up with that? It wouldn't take that much to put one in. Like, everything in a house, an RV, wherever you're living, everything that has a water source, that has water to it, that is connected to a hose or a pipe or whatever, should have a water shut-off valve right next to it. It's the dumbest thing if it doesn't. I don't understand, because that would have been very helpful when not me, did not. Yeah, we had to run outside when the toilet.
Oh my god!
Okay, so I had to stop that. I don't know how well that cut off on the other one, but I had to stop that because there was a giant lobster on the building. Don't worry, I will include the video. You will get to see it. It was definitely worth stopping mid-video. But anyways, the final thing that we did while we were in Wells, Maine, was Dad and I fixed our washer-dryer combo. So for the past couple months, it has been drying worse than normal, because if you have a washer-dryer combo, you know that your clothes don't really get dry, but they're not wet, and they're like barely damp. So it kind of has been progressing for a couple months now. It was like damp, and then it was like wet, and it's just been weird. And then like in the past month, it starts making these noises. It stops in the middle of a cycle and starts making these noises like it's possessed. So that's not very cool. But we eventually did some research, and we decided that it was probably the dryer. It's like a vent kind of thing. It's a, I don't know. It sucks. It's where the air goes in, but then it ends up getting all the lint and stuff stuck in it. Like, it sucks that out. So we figured that was probably the problem. So we decided we were gonna clean that out, and we had to take it out of the pantry, which first we were like, it's big enough, or it's small enough to go through the door. We can just pull it through. Or like, I asked Mom, I was like, did the manufacturer put that in, or was that in did someone put that in after that? And she was like, a previous owner put it in. So we're like, okay, so they got it in, so it has to come out. So we start pulling it out, and it is like, we're like, I don't know. So we decided to measure it. We're like this close to the door. Across the top, it was like 23.5 inches, and then we measured the entire doorway, and it was 23.25 of an inch. So just a little bit too tight to fit it through. So we had to kind of push it back a little bit and get it all sideways. We dragged it out. Then we had to turn it again so that we could get it to the back of it. Then we're like, okay, we're just gonna take this back panel off. We're like, this will be perfect. There's this nice, easy, you just take out some screws, slide it up, it'll come off easy, and we'll just reach in there and get it. Well, you couldn't access the part that we needed to get to from just sliding that off. We're like, okay, we'll just take the whole back panel off. So we start taking more screws off, and then we realize there is no whole back panel. It's got rounded corners. It's all one piece. It's not like a box that's been put together. It's a whole one piece. So we're like, okay, so we find a video. Now we gotta take the whole top off. So we start taking screws out again, and then we finally got the top off, and then it's a real it's interesting in there. Yeah, I personally would not have put it together like that, but the people that made it just wanted to put it together like that. So there's a rock in there, presumably to hold down the drum of the whole thing so that it doesn't like bounce excessively or more excessively than it already does. Anyways, we have to take all this stuff off the top to get to this one piece, and we did it. We fixed it. We're pretty sure it's fine now, but I was like, it's gonna take us 20 minutes, and we started at about 9:30 in the morning, and we finished at about 2:30.
So that's what that weird howling noise thing was that would go off in the middle of the night?
No.
Oh, what? I'm very confused.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The dryer would make a really weird noise, kind of like a wolf would be howling.
No, that was just probably the air. It was probably just air next to the clothes when it spins. Anyways,
so
we will have this conversation in a second. I'm trying to finish my video. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Anyways, yeah, we put it back in, and that took a whole lot of time because we were like, we're not gonna put it all the way back together because we want to make sure no water. We put everything back together right, and no water leaks out. And then we were like, it's not gonna work like that because the hoses aren't long enough to reach. So then we had to drag it back out from where we had put it, turn it some more, put everything back on, then turn it again, put it back in, turn it so that it would fit again.
Get your strips.
What?
And your things. Your biggest, fattest zip
Oh yeah,
ties.
and we also had to get some giant zip ties. We only needed one, but it came in packs of 4 or 30, so we went with the 4. But yeah, we had to get this zip tie onto one of the things on top of the dryer. It like holds the piece where the air goes in to the dryer or to the machine itself. It like holds that piece together, and we were struggling to get that tight enough. So yeah, it was a whole experience, and Mom's like, so we should probably do this every 6 months, huh? I was like, we made it almost a year. I think it's okay if we maybe once a year. So yeah, hopefully that's all good now. But if you have a Splendid washer dryer combo, I guess the flashing lights, there's the flashing lights at the end of the cycle when it's done and it's just telling you it's done, but there is if it randomly stops or if it's more than just what the normal is, that's actually the codes for what's wrong. So I didn't know that before, but now I do, and I think that from what I looked into, I'm pretty sure it lined up that the piece we fixed or cleaned out was why it was flashing the way that it was. So yeah, if your washer dryer combo is just flashing weirdly, look up what error code that means. So yeah. Okay, bye.